Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. Welcome indeed. Wow, this past week has almost felt like a fever dream, you know? I seriously woke up this morning wondering what new dumpster fire was going to be trending. And no, I'm not bringing up the YouTube restricted mode thing again. I think there's been enough discussion about that. I've made enough speculation over it, and by now I just want to get back to making content. You know, whether there's some nefarious mastermind behind the channel's viewership decline or not. No, what was trending, is the same thing that's been trending for the past few days. Borderlands 4. So, that's what we're going to talk about. Anywho, welcome to the Neko Cafe podcast, the place where I can talk about whatever I want, and there is nothing that can stop me. Not even the YouTube algorithm, it seems. So, this is episode 11. Yeah, this is episode 11, the one where I talk about Borderlands 4. So get your listening ears on and get comfortable. We're doing this. Now then, like almost every gaming channel on YouTube, or at least the ones that I'm subscribed to, Borderlands 4 has been the game that's been on our collective minds for the past several months now. I mean, with all the sheer stupidity that's been happening with games like Destiny and Bungie the studio, I've personally been desperate to find a game that will bring me some kind of reprieve, you know, and be the game that I can play where the company behind said game isn't actively trying to F me over. I think a lot of people were really banking on Borderlands 4 being that game. We had really high hopes. I mean, look, yeah, I know. It's called being desperate, okay? Borderlands 4 released on September 11th, just days ago, right? And the masses went wild. I was there, I know. I was going wild with them. And then, just like so many games before it, the wild, crazy masses became enraged. I also know, because I was there, enraged with them. The game was broken. Hell, who am I kidding? At the time of the making of this podcast, it's still broken. That's right. A AAA game from a AAA studio released in a broken, buggy, unstable mess that only a few fortunate and lucky gamers are able to enjoy. Well, that's it. Podcast over. Let's wrap it up. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment. Oh, wait. I'm sorry. Did you want more? You'd like for me to elaborate? Well, why didn't you say so? Well, to do that, we need to go back a bit. Talk about some of the other games Borderlands shares something in common with, and something that absolutely made my soul die a little upon first learning about. And that's Unreal Engine 5. Well, look, what? You thought I wasn't going to talk about Unreal Engine 5? Really? I have not been quiet about my dislike of Unreal Engine 5. In fact, at almost every turn, at every opportunity, I make a point of expressing my dislike of that busted, bloated, janky bullshit game engine. The one that everybody loves, and it keeps finding its way into games just to F them up. I can't decide if it's the studio executives actively sabotaging the games with this idiotic choice, or if it's the game developers. But when I launch a game and it turns into a memory-eating, GPU-crunching gremlin, that causes my PC to crash, I already know it's probably Unreal Engine 5. Now, I don't play every game that comes out. And not every game made with Unreal Engine 5 is a guaranteed hot mess. There are, in fact, developers that make it work. A few games that come to mind are Clear Obscure and Wuthering Waves. You know, I streamed Wuthering Waves just a few nights ago, and it didn't so much as stutter on maximum settings. But when you take a game like, I don't know, The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remaster, I mean, it's like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Only it's all Mr. Hyde. It was an absolute miracle of science that I was able to squeeze out as many live streams as I did before I finally threw my hands up in defeat over that game. A memory-eating, GPU-crunching monster. A gremlin. I'd love to blame all of this on a mechanical hating imp who sabotages machinery, but I think this problem, like most of them, are the result of simple human error and maybe even arrogance. I mean, I don't have time to wax poetic about all the ways the gaming industry has managed to F up recently, has managed to alienate their consumers, has managed to put the cart before the horse, and weaponize monetization and pre-orders, all while putting forth the least amount of effort in every way possible. Basically, in a nutshell, the gaming industry wants to do nothing and make money for it. Since Borderlands 4 was released, it's been a massively bumpy ride. The gaming community is split yet again. I mean, if you can keep up with all the splittage at this point, the console players have been absolutely livid over the absence of a field of view slider, which I can't say that I blamed them. I mean, holy crap, has anybody even saw those screenshots? You know, top tier GPUs have been performing like a ballerina in a lake of refrigerated molasses. And Randy Pitchford, the president and CEO of the Gearbox Entertainment Company, has been opening his mouth on social media. Oh man, it doesn't get any better than this. But to make things worse, all right, the responses from Gearbox on the game's poor performance, you know, because when a game does bad, the first thing people do is they go to social media and they start complaining. They go to Reddit, they go to Steam, they go to Twitter, wherever. And when Gearbox responds, it's so cookie cutter. It's so automated, you know, and it's like, have you tried it's almost as bad as, you know, trying to get tech support for a printer. Have you tried unplugging it and plugging it back in? Is your computer on? Did you optimize your game correctly using the settings that we've recommended? And it's like, come on, really? Really? You're just going to give us a link to how to turn down our settings? This is your solution? Especially considering that, you know, we just want to play the game, right? But what they're basically telling us is, it's not us, it's you, despite all of the anecdotal and empirical evidence to the contrary. What gamers want, I know because I'm a gamer, is we want a game that runs on the hardware as expected, okay? If a gamer, all right, spends heaps of money on an RTX 5090 GPU that promises them 4K gaming, right? They kind of expect that. It isn't unrealistic. Unfortunately, AAA games with UE5 seem to be meant for GPUs of the future. Unless you want to follow the Gearbox guide and enable frame generation, which, I mean, let's face it, that kind of defeats the purpose of spending all that money on an effing 5090, doesn't it? I mean, they could do that shit on a 40 series. Oh, but wait. That doesn't work either. What we seem to be getting from the gaming industry is a lot of them saying, we're listening, we hear you, but it's basically just deflection. We've been hearing Bungie rattle off, we're listening so much now that we just don't even care to hear it anymore. Because clearly when they say listening, it doesn't mean the same thing as fixing. They promise us a quality product and time again deliver subpar bullshit in a box. I'm reminded of a scene from one of the greatest movies of all time, Tommy Boy. Remember that movie? It was great. I loved Tommy Boy. It was a fantastic movie, right? So there's a scene where Tommy is on the road trying to drum up sales for the business that he inherited from his father. And he's trying to make a sale, and this one guy is just going on about how the competitor has this product that has a guarantee. And so he asks Tommy, why then does your competitor, why do they put a guarantee on the box then? To which Tommy replies, because they know all they sold you was a guaranteed piece of shit. That's all it is. I mean, hey, if you want me to take a dump in a box and mark it guaranteed, I will. I've got the spare time. I think this sums up a major portion of the games that the industry has been releasing lately. Time and again, we're promised a great experience, but in reality, it's just the studios taking a dump in a box and slapping a guarantee on the side. Now, I'm not here to throw anybody under the bus. I know that when things like this happen, people take to social media and they incorrectly call out developers. The people that spend half of their lives in a little cubicle chomping away at a keyboard. And it's got to sting. It's got to sting when you're lumped in with the company that is shitting all over everyone. And I'm not trying to throw any developers under the bus. I understand that there is often a huge disconnect between the people that are working on the game and the people in the boardroom. And I understand that developers take issue when their hard work is ridiculed and reviled. But what I can't abide is when developers overreact to the situation and they make it worse. I mean, you don't get paid to defend your company in public. That's PR's job exclusively. Don't act sanctimonious about a piece of shit in a box that your company should have delayed for 3 years so that you could polish it up. Now, I haven't really been seeing a lot of this happen with Borderlands, but I've seen it happen in the past. Games come out, they get some criticism, and the developers take it upon themselves to start combating this, problem. And I'm just saying, a lot of times, most of the time, I'm gonna have the developers back. I apologize that you get lumped in with crappy business practices, things that are oftentimes beyond your control. And if any game should have been polished up, I mean, it's Borderlands 4. So here we are again, right? With another game needing post-launch surgery. I mean, I'd love nothing more than to raise my expectations, allow myself even the tiniest shred of hope, but at this point, I'm just tired of dealing with it. I know that comparing a game, and you knew this was coming. You had to know this was coming. I know that comparing a game like Hollow Knight Silksong to Borderlands 4 is like comparing apples to raisins, okay? But if the success of Silk Song has taught us anything, it's that gamers don't need a AAA blockbuster to be happy. We need a product that follows through on its promises, instead of selling us a guarantee of happiness. I want to be clear that I am in no way singling out the use of Unreal Engine 5. I said this before, right? There are games that use it very well. But lately, it seems as if the number of badly optimized games are starting to stack up. And Unreal Engine 5 seems to be at the heart of all of these. I mean, I'm not saying that every single game made is, that's bad is the result of UE5. There are games that are piss poorly optimized all on their own, have nothing to do with Unreal Engine 5. But I'm also noticing something of a trend here, and I feel like I have to point it out. There are so many games that have been accused of being poorly optimized that use Unreal Engine 5 that the CEO of Epic, what was his name? Tim Sweeney, he made his statement about it. I've got it here. The primary reason, he says, and I'm quoting here, quote, "The primary reason Unreal Engine 5 based games don't run smoothly on certain PCs or GPUs is the development process." He says many developers begin by developing games for high-end hardware, then optimize and test on lower spec devices in the final stages. So the implication here is that they should start low and work their way up higher. I think he hit the nail on the head with that one. Now, it could be that he's deflecting because, their shit is at the heart, center stage of all of this drama. He could just be deflecting, but I feel like there is something to that. Game studios are so concerned with the newest and latest tech, they give no considerations to the millions of gamers that are still on perfectly fine and functional older technology. I mean, if my games run fine on my 4070 Super, why would I go spend $1,000 or more to upgrade if I didn't need to? I mean, this is going to hurt. This is going to upset some people, right? If I thought for a single second that I could squeeze out 60 FPS or higher from a cheaper GPU while live streaming, I would. But the reality, is very different. Especially when these companies, they see their customers as nothing more than a bank account. Fans that will buy their promises out of loyalty or the promise of a great experience. And when we buy it and we play it and it fails to meet our expectations, the damage is already done. Randy Pitchford already has my money. And promises he made are little more than a fart in the wind at this point. So it doesn't matter if I have last year's GPU or the one from a year before that, or hell, one magically shipped to me from the year 2099. Gearbox has already added to the pile of busted-ass games, and the only thing they care about is if we still are interested in that DLC that's coming later on. My official stance on the matter is I'm done with Borderlands 4. I bought a product, and it was ass, and I hope I've learned my lesson. I probably haven't. I'm sure I'll get duped into buying a game with a shiny guarantee on the box later down the road. And for every one of me, there are thousands out there that keep feeding the corporate greed machine. They either don't care, they can't be bothered, or they genuinely believe in a company that doesn't believe in them in return. Whether it's Nintendo trying to come in first place as the biggest assholes of the industry, or Bethesda repackaging and repurposing games that should now only exist in our fondest memories, or EA who doesn't even hide the fact that they just want to make love to our wallets. The gaming industry is in a rough place. And the worst thing that I think we can do is add to it by failing to voice our concerns and stick to our guns. You know, if we're gonna draw a line in the sand, then we can't cross it whenever it suits our, our whim. We can't say, oh, I'm done with Nintendo until they change their ways. Here's the line in the sand that I'm not going to cross. But then as soon as, a new exclusive Nintendo game comes out, we step all over our own line to get that game because, well, we're just making an exception. Corporations are not our friend. No matter what they post on social media, I mean, they only speak in the language of currency. And each time we spend $1 on their bullshit, we're basically telling them to keep up with whatever it is that they're doing, that it's okay, and we approve. Games like Borderlands 4, Oblivion, Metal Gear Solid Delta, and many others are going to continue to devour our sanity with each launch until we speak in a language that these studios can understand. We don't reward bad behavior. I'm sorry. You don't get your allowance until you've done your chores. Give me a good game that works, and then I'll buy your DLC. Anyway, that's all I've got. That's it in a nutshell. I wanted to weigh in on this whole Borderlands 4 thing, and officially give my official response in an official podcast. So there you are. It is now official. It's on a podcast. It can't be any less official, right? So, anywho, guys, if you'd like to weigh in on this, if you've been affected by Borderlands 4 in any way, stutters, stammers, triggers, whatever, by all means, head to the comments, make some words. Thank you all so much for watching and or listening. My name is Gruzbee. The Catgirl mascot is Fumi-chan. If you enjoyed what you saw or heard, then by all means, hit that like button and consider subbing to the channel. Let the algorithm know that we still matter. If you want to help out the channel directly, you can by becoming a channel member, or you can become a member of the Patreon. Or if you don't want to do that, you can just tip me a coffee. There's links in the description for all that. So anyway, have a great day, everyone. Keep being awesome, and I will see you all in the next episode. Bye.